Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness deleted scenes explained. When it comes to a movie like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, there are truly infinite possibilities. Unfortunately, when it comes to making a major motion picture, there are a finite number of minutes in which to cram everything into one single story while keeping things coherent. The Sam Raimi directed MCU movie does pack an awful lot into its 2 hours and 6 minutes of runtime, but as you might expect, a lot wound up on the cutting room floor. Now, to find out what almost made it into the movie but didn't, Nerdist staff writer Michael Walsh sat down with Multiverse of Madness writer Michael Waldron. From wildly unexpected characters to awesome action scenes and answers about long-standing rumors, we've got a lot to share with you. And we're going to break it all down for you in just a moment. But if you prefer to read all about it, guess what? We've got you covered over on Nerdist.com. But folks, to talk about this stuff in detail, obviously we got to spoil what happens in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So if you haven't seen this movie yet, this is your first and final warning.
Well, I mean, when you put it like that, then...
Okay, let's get into it, shall we? Now, as you may know, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness went through many different stages of development. It was originally going to be written by Doctor Strange 1 co-writers Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, but they left the project over creative differences. Michael Waldron, fresh off of Loki Season 1, was brought in to rewrite the script in February 2020, and the film was supposed to start production in May 2020. Now, as a result of pandemic-related production delays, Waldron wound up having a bit of a fresh start with this project and the chance to really reconstruct it from the ground up. And one of his biggest additions? The Illuminati, the shadowy supergroup from the comics who first appeared in Brian Michael Bendis and Steve McNiven's New Avengers #7. Speaking with Nerdist, Waldron said, "I went off script from the outline and put the Illuminati in there. That was a surprise to everyone in my first draft. Nobody knew that was going to be in there. What happens to them was also a surprise." Now, determining the lineup of the Illuminati was a challenging task in and of itself, according to Waldron. But we can now confirm that despite everyone and their mother insisting that Tom Cruise would definitely appear in this movie as an alternate version of Iron Man, he was never a part of the original Illuminati lineup. Like the rest of us, though, Waldron agreed that it would be pretty cool to see Tom Cruise in the Marvel Universe for a role that he nearly played so many moons ago. He said, "Look, Tom Cruise's Iron Man would have been cool." As everybody was saying that, I was like, yeah, of course. I remember reading those rumors on coming attractions back in the day. Apparently, the idea was floated internally at Marvel, but never quite made it to the point of an actual offer. Speaking with Rolling Stone, Waldron said of these rumors, "Yeah, that was totally made up. I mean, there's no cut footage of Tom Cruise, but I love Tom Cruise." And I said to Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige at one point, I was like, could we get Tom Cruise's Iron Man? But sadly, it was not to pass. He added, "I don't believe so. I just don't think it was ever an option because of availability." However, the original lineup of the Illuminati did contain at least one genuinely shocking character. That's right, folks, I'm talking about the Phone Ranger. Created by Kurt Busiek and James Fry, Phone Ranger is basically the condiment king of the Marvel Universe. He's a patently ridiculous character that would feel more at home battling the Tick than a powered-up Wanda Maximoff. First appearing in Marvel Age Annual #1, Phone Ranger is the alter ego of A.G. Bell, which is just as subtle as it gets. A mild-mannered telephone repairman, Bell discovered alien technology in a phone that he was sent to repair one day, and found that it let him tap into any form of communications technology. Logically, he did what any one of us would do. He became a crime-fighting superhero known as the Phone Ranger, because why not? Now, of this oddball inclusion, Waldron said, "I wrote a near and dear character to my heart, Phone Ranger, who's just a ridiculous phone-based superhero. He met a grisly end in the original draft of my script, but he didn't make it in." Can't you just picture Wanda strangling that guy with his own telephone cord? 'Cause I can. Now, speaking of iconic characters that we apparently could have had, Nerdist also asked Waldron about the scene that he most wanted to make the final cut, but didn't. His answer to this one honestly makes me the saddest of all because of just how amazing it would have been. In my first draft, Wanda rewrote Wong into an 80s action hero. She made Wong basically into her henchman and rewrote him into an Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 80s Commando Predator style action hero, and sent him after Strange. That assault on the Illuminati headquarters was Wanda, but then it was Wong with like a grenade launcher. These are the things that make their way into the first round. That was pretty good. Waldron also mentioned that Michael Stuhlbarg's character Nicodemus West also initially had a bigger role in other versions of the script.
"I'll assist you."
No.
In the movie, West has a brief but impactful scene with Doctor Strange, where he questions why Strange did what he did in the fight against Thanos. He talks about the trauma of being blipped, and he gets in some digs against his old rival. Those who have read Brian K. Vaughan and Marcos Martin's excellent series Doctor Strange The Oath know that being a surgeon was merely the beginning of West's journey. And so too did Waldron. There were versions of the story and discussions of him showing up in the other universes as well. There's a comics history in The Oath by Brian K. Vaughan where the character Nick West becomes an evil sorcerer and adversary of Strange. So I wanted to keep him alive in the MCU because Stuhlbarg's so great. Now, sadly, the one question that I wish we had time to ask Waldron actually came from YouTube commenter Sesame Street Fighter on our Easter egg breakdown video. What does poop look like in the Paint multiverse, brown or rainbow? The world may never know, but if we ever see Michael Waldron again, and I do mean ever, you'd better believe that's the first and probably last thing we're gonna ask him.
Places look like a Jackson Pollock painting.
Anyway, folks, there you have it. Make sure you check out Michael Walsh's full interview with Michael Waldron over on Nerdist to find out even more about how they landed on Wanda's villainous turn and other juicy behind-the-scenes details. Now, we have plenty of other deep dives into the Multiverse of Madness over on Nerdist as well, and we'll have even more in the days ahead. But for now, though, tell us, what did you think of this movie? What are your biggest questions about the film? And who would you like to have seen in the Illuminati?
Bonesaw is ready!
Let us know in the comments below, and for the latest and greatest in the world of pop culture, make sure you stay tuned to Nerdist.com.